Good dog. Good dog.
Look at you, good dog, good day, Aksa. We have my Norwegian friend there. She's in Denmark.
Gian.
Yes,
Gian is with us.
yes, she's right there.
Shall we bring Gian on?
Oh, she's not comfortable yet. I've asked her before.
So, so
She
you're
was.
a lot. So you would say you're a little more comfortable
I'm trying. I dare.
trying.
I dare more. I should say.
You're trying.
I know.
you
I
you
don't see it.
you
Can you
would
hear me?
say
By the way, let me just check that.
I can hear you clearly. I don't know if you can hear me.
Yeah.
You would say you're a little. Are you a little more confident? A little more comfortable?
Hmm. Yeah, if you want to say it that way, but I don't feel like confidence. I really
No.
don't. No, I just dare. I challenge myself. Like it's like every day. It's like let's do it. I can do it. I can do it. I can do it. But there's no like, oh, I'm so good at that. Let me just do it. That's a confident, right?
No, you don't. I mean, you don't have to be like, I'm so good at
Oh,
this to be
I,
confident. Is that confidence?
I think it's like when you know it. If you don't have the nervousness or you confident. If you don't have the nervousness, I feel like that's what confidence is.
Who said you don't? Who said you don't have to be nervous to be confident?
That's what I think. That's my definition of it.
See, that's what I
Oh,
was saying. So that's what I was saying when I said we have two different definitions.
okay, tell
You
me
know,
the definition.
so there's been so many times where in the past I would go on stage, I would be in front of a crowd or an audience doing a play or a scene where I might have been a pastor, a reverend, a pimp, whatever. And I'd be saying lines, right? One time they even had me play Martin Luther King, of all people. And, I had nervousness. There were jitters, there was a nervous energy, especially right before I went out on stage. But I would always say a prayer, and just allow that energy to transmute, and that nervousness transmuted into the energy that I used on stage.
Hmm. So, were
So,
you
it
confident?
wasn't that I wasn't nervous.
But were you confident?
So you see confidence and nervousness as two opposite sides of the spectrum.
Kind of. It's like if you don't have the nervousness in the act, you're confident, in my opinion. But if you still have that nervousness and you still go on stage, you're just brave. You know,
So
it's
let, so
different.
let me ask you this. So, they say that courage is not the absence of fear,
Hmm.
but that courage is actually moving forward in spite of your fear, like being able to do the thing regardless of the fear that might appear, you know?
Yes, yes, yes.
Right?
I like
Right?
that.
So if courage, do you see how confidence could be the same way with nervousness?
I can see that. Yeah. Um, no, not really, not really. But let's say this. Okay, the way you explain courage is the way I see what I do. Basically, when I say like I dare to just come on here, it's not there's no confidence in it. It's just that I'm pushing through it. The fear. I'm pushing through the fear, basically. Do you get it? Like I
So
don't
you
know.
you feel like you're pushing through when you come on live. You feel like you're pushing through something. You don't
My
you don't
fear,
feel like,
my fears.
and
It's
you
like
don't feel like it comes naturally. Like usually when we get to the end of the live, you won't even know that the hour has passed.
mhm.
So did you feel like you were pushing through to make it last?
um no. At one point, I forget that we are on live. That's what I can say. Like, okay, I don't have any nervousness in me, and I wouldn't even call that confident. I would just be like normal. It's a normal. It just becomes a normal conversation.
So
So
so so confidence is your norm. It's now become normal for you.
confidence should be the norm. Once you trust yourself, you know what you're doing, And even if you don't know what you're doing, you just trust in yourself. That's confident.
Okay. Okay. And when you have been observed by others, when you have been witnessed by others, even if you don't fully regard, the onlookers or the eyes that people have their own perceptions,
Yeah.
people have told you before that they view you as confident. Am I right?
Yes.
People have
And,
said before those words directed your way.
yes. And I think it's
Uh-huh.
third. I'm like, are you serious? I'm not. It's like I'm shaking. I'm so nervous. I don't even look at myself. I never watch any of my videos because I can't. I just can't.
Mm-hmm.
I just look
Mm-hmm.
away. I'm like, I don't want to look at myself. It's like that. But it's, yeah, but people see different. People think like I'm actually good at this.
And who said you weren't?
I'm still practicing. I know. I've got a lot to master, so I said it.
And even though you said, Nabiha, that, I'm still practicing, I'm still trying, I'm just, doing this thing, I'm pushing myself through my fears, how long do you think it would take for you to finally feel that you were confident?
Wow. I've actually asked myself that question. And, some things takes lifetime. Some things actually do have a duration. And I think this can go away. I don't know how long, but the more I just, express myself, the more I come in that platform where feel like it's like if it was a scene, for example, and I have to step on there and then talk every day. Like if I have to do it every day, it would just become a normal thing, right? Eventually I would just get used to it. So I'm just waiting for that moment where I trust myself fully.
You said waiting for the moment where you trust yourself
Fully, yeah.
fully. So in this moment of now, you feel you don't trust yourself fully.
No, no.
Why do you feel that is?
I don't think anybody do trust themselves fully. I really don't think so. When you have these thoughts of like, it's so many things that you think about, it's so many things that you have, in your mind, but you don't trust them to be true. They just become a thought. It's just something that comes through you. It's just something that's within you. But it's like it requires a lot of trust to do a lot of things. So we do have these internal conversations, but we trust maybe 10% of it. 10%. So yeah, it's a lot of things that I have in my mind, a lot of things that I feel, a lot of things that I think, but I need that trust in myself in order for me to convey out.
Because, you remind me that there was a time, and it was the only time that I've ever gone skydiving, right? And so I went skydiving, and at the time, my partner, it was for her birthday. She just wanted to go skydiving. She wanted to take her brother, but her brother bailed out on her, so I was the next person in line, right?
Okay.
So I'm surprise, surprise, I'm going skydiving. The day before, I'm so nervous, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then we finally get there, and the guy that was in tandem with her was the perfect guy for her. He was just saying sweet nothings, just, honey, you're going to be okay, everything's going to be all right, it's going to be perfect, I got you, I'm with you, you're hooked up to me, I've been doing this, I'm a professional, we got this, right? And the person who was hooked up with me was a complete comedian. He was like he was saying jokes. He was like unclipping my clip as we were 10,000 feet in the air. He's like undoing my belt. He's like, "Are you okay? You good? You strapped in?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm good." He's like, "You don't look so good." He's messing with me the whole way up, right? Then we get in, we're tucked in, and we tilt out, and there's an auto chute, there's a parachute, and there's a backup chute as well, just in case. And he taps me, and I put my arms out, and we're flying. And I didn't even have time to be scared. I didn't even have time to be nervous. It was just like a thrill ride. There was so much adrenaline rushing that I was just in the moment. But right before I jumped, I was feeling all sorts of things, right? Here's the kicker. When he pulled the chute and it was over in a matter of 30 to 60 seconds, we're floating down to the ground, and we have a whole conversation in the air as we're gliding towards the ground. And he asked me, hey, so what do you do? You know? And I tell him at the time I was doing stand-up comedy. And he was like, what? Stand-up comedy? I would never do that, right? And I'm like, what? You skydive for a living, right? This is what you do for a living. This is how you make money. You jump out of airplanes. So it showed that he thought what I did was scarier than what he did,
Yeah.
you know?
I know why.
Say again?
I said, I know why.
Why?
People are more scared about people's opinions than anything else. While you're jumping from that plane, there's nobody judging you. However you do, whatever, even if you scream, whatever nobody's judging you. You're just scared of, like, hitting the floor or whatever. And most likely that's not gonna happen. Or if it happens, it happens. You're done. But when it comes to stand-up comedian, you have all these audience with all these minds saying something about you, have an opinion about you. So it's just all those opinions. Even if they're not reaching you, you just feel it as an energy, Even if the person is not saying it out loud, it's like, oh, this guy thinks it's funny. This is not funny, or something, whatever that's going on. But it's people's opinion that's more scarier than skydiving.
I hear you. So when people's opinions are aimed at you, Nabiha, with everything that you project, all the positivity that you put out on your platform, in your posts, in your stories, on these lives, why aren't you afraid of all these opinions aimed at you?
But that's the nervousness I talk about, right? When I come on live, that's when I feel like, okay, a lot of people, it's just the people's opinions. That's why I don't say much of the things that I have within me, because of people's opinions also, right? So the more I trust myself, the more I let go of what people think, right? So I do feel like it's my fear every day. I don't share as much as I'm supposed to. I don't share as much as, for example, I have within me. I just take like a fraction of whatever, because I think like, okay, this will match their mind. Oh, they wouldn't be, too serious about this. Let me phrase this way. Even if the truth will hurt everybody, I sugarcoat a little bit here and there to not get that judgment.
Wow. Okay, I would have never known this. So you said, because we see you taking action. You're a woman of action, right? You're taking action. So through that action, which is half of attraction, you're taking action, but you're saying that you only share a fraction.
Yes, I only share a fraction.
And you say that even though you only share a fraction, you're saying you don't share as much as you're supposed to share.
No, because of people.
How much do you feel you're supposed to share?
It's so much. It's so much. Life has so much, we all have a lot to share, but we don't think so. By you sharing something, someone else will recognize it. Someone else will, it's in the sharing, really. But we keep a lot of things onto ourselves, because we think about people's opinion. But that thing that you want to share will really help someone else, really. So, but a lot of us are afraid to share because we think this is crazy, because we think this is like, like I was thinking about it earlier today, actually. When I share a quote from someone else, I'm more confident sharing that. And that gets less likes. And then I can share a random thought that I just had, and no editing, nothing. I just put it out there. What was it, like Sunday? A Sunday, I had like a lot of random thoughts. I'm like, whatever, just share it, And that's what resonates more with people. But I'm more confident in sharing something from Rumi because people already know Rumi. But Rumi doesn't get as much attention as my raw, thoughts.
So when you're sharing your rawness, your raw authenticity, right? When you're sharing your realness, and you see that they feel this, and it gets more recognition when you share your realness. What does that tell you?
It tells me how much I hold myself back, how much I trust others than myself. how much I think, like, it's just, I think, I don't know. I think I don't trust myself. That's all it is. I just don't trust the thing that comes out of, the things that I say that people will resonate with it, but they really do. They really do. So, yeah, that's all it is. I just don't trust myself.
And where do you feel like not trusting yourself? Because I feel like this was a topic that we touched on, but I don't know if we talked about where it started. Like, where did you stop trusting yourself, or did you ever start trusting yourself? Was there a time before?
That I stopped. I think we're just conditioned not to. It's like it's slowly conditioning that we just don't trust ourselves. This is not just me. I think it's everybody. I think it's everybody. I don't know when it started, but I know it's just been within me. Like all my life, I've been fearing something. It's part of the fear. I used to think like if I didn't have so much fear, I would see so much. And sometimes I could hear things, I could sense things, but just my fear will make it disappear because I was scared of it. I was like, oh, I don't want to see something that other people don't see because then I'm going cuckoo, I'm going crazy or something like that, right? But if I just trusted in that feeling where I felt that, oh, there's something present right here, and I trusted that that thing would appear, it would come there, I would see it. But since I said, oh no, this is just my mind. Oh, I'm just crazy. Oh, it's something. It disappears. It won't show up. So it's a lot of things that I feel like I could have trusted more and would appear. But just because of the distrust, I couldn't. So
Hmm.
that's like when I was a kid. I wanted to
Right.
see this, you know, ghost or whatever. If they're real, if they're right there, I can sense it. But I could have seen it if I really wanted to. Yeah.
And just like they say, it's never too late to be who you might have been or do what you might have done. Might it not still be too late to trust like you might have not trusted?
Oh no, it's not too late at all. It's just like knowing that that's what you're doing and then do the different. I didn't know that I wasn't trusting myself. I just thought it was a normal thing to avoid being crazy. To avoid, you always have to just adjust to the norm. That's what we do. Like yesterday, the life that you had, what was it? Jesse said something. Yeah, I was a dummy, he said, because he was going to this, he said he went to this, smart school, and he was the dummy because he was the hippie, and he thought like he was using his heart more than his mind, basically. But the thought that he thought he was a dummy, and people that, studying books were smart. It's just the conditioning. It is a conditioning, but it's not like that. It's just because if you're not part of the norm, then something is completely wrong with you. If you're not reading those science books and you're actually exploring your heart, something is wrong with you, you dummy. You see what I'm saying? Like it's always something. We have to always like align with the norm or society or whatever you want to call it. If we're not, then you're crazy or you are whatever. So
Okay, so what I hear you saying, as you speak, and this is very profound because I think that someone else needs to hear these words as well, just like I do that you're saying right now, is that when we're not trusting, we're adjusting.
mhm.
It's like,
Yes. You got it right there. We are. We are adjusting. And then, you adjust to something that's not you. It's not even you. It's like you're going away from you, adjusting to something else. It's like you're shaping yourself. Like if you were clay, you would just shape yourself to other things than your own thoughts in which you really are. And then you just become whatever. But we are all conditioned that way. And internally, we are repeating these things. Oh, you're crazy. You tell yourself like, oh no, there's something wrong. No, that's not real. Or whatever internal thing that, conversation that's going on. It's like you're stopping yourself. You are making yourself, not trust yourself, basically.
and going from adjusting to being more trusting, if you were to trust yourself more, what do you feel, what's the worst that could happen?
Hmm. You may look crazy, but I think that's your most blissful state, really. You can reach your most blissful state by just, going your own path and not adjusting to whatever. But now you are actually shaping you for what you really are. You know, there's nothing that's crazy. This whole reality is crazy. You know, so just because you don't fit in those boxes does not mean it's crazy. You know, or just see crazy as good even. Not fitting in the boxes is good.
And when you are the one that you must shape, is that a worthy path to take?
Yes, that's the only path.
Mm.
That's the only path because if you shape yourself to this beautiful sculpture, and I shape myself, everybody shapes themselves. Now we have like all these unique, beautiful shapes, but everybody trying to adjust. You see like halfway built shapes and halfway and crumble ones. It's just nothing is complete because you don't even know what you're doing, right? If you're just trying to adjust something that you haven't even understood, you don't know what you're doing. So I don't think like anybody is like finished sculpture because of they like halfway down here and there. But once you take your route and like how to fix yourself, you can create yourself.
You hit on something so brilliant, and I see hearts going up because people are in agreement with what you're saying right now. A lot of people, and it can be said that to a certain degree, nobody knows what they're doing. You know, there's even a book that says nobody knows anything. That's the title of the book. Nobody knows anything,
I believe
right?
that.
And you can even look at the people that people revere and admire, the people that look very elegant in all these different attires, the people that have even gone to great lengths to rewire their minds,
Hmm.
you know? Even them, they could say that they're winging it, you know? Like they don't really know what they're doing. They're just doing, you know? Like you could look at celebrities, actors, actresses, like anybody that you see that you've ever looked up to that had a certain degree of success. Even them, they are not fearless, but they still do what they do despite,
Hmm.
you
I never
know.
thought they could do everything anyway. Like someone came to me and they like, oh, I figured it all out. I go the other way because no, you haven't. You have not. I don't think anybody knows exactly 100% what they're doing. We just, we're just a victim of life, actually, to be honest. And whatever you are conditioning, that's what you do. But then when you take the wheel, then you know what road to take. You don't have to go on the same highway as everyone else. You can take your own path. So it's all about taking your own wheel, really. You can do that,
Eh,
but you only fixing yourself. But if you're trying to adjust to everything out there, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
right, right. So people that you enjoy, people like Nora Jones, right, or people like Krishnamurti, or people like Stephen King, any of your favorite authors, writers, speakers, musicians.
Michael Jackson.
Right, right. Do you feel like they always knew what they were doing?
No, none of them knew what they were doing.
Okay. And if you could admit that none of them knew what they were doing, would you still say that they seemed confident in what they were doing?
I think, you know, the people that you mentioned right now are completely different. But let's say like Krishna, right? It may look like to people that he knew what he was doing, but he was just trying to figure out if life, itself, right? So by him figuring out whatever path he took, whatever he, speculated, however he did, it was just like he was doing the research on life before he even left. He never figured out anything. Nobody figures anything out about life and leave here. It's like that's what I'm saying yesterday. This body is like, rented vehicle, it's like you rent a car. So it's, you can extend it, but a lot of people haven't found out before they could extend their cars. So the car expired on them and they left, but they were still exploring life. So confident and confident, no, I think he was just like, he eased his confusion, about life. And it's like, oh my God, this thing is so confusing. And the confusion just got back to him like, oh, I know it's actually confusing, but he's still trying to figure out, why is it not confusing? What is this? So it's just a continuation.
And even in the continuation of that confusion, right, of striving to figure something out, putting the pieces of the puzzle together, right? Do you feel that these people, at the very least, had confidence that they would somehow figure it out, or someday figure it out, or some way figure it out, like confidence in what they were doing, or confidence in that endeavor in that way?
Like I said, he was just exploring. Like when you were jumping, did you have any choice? When you jumped, like you just jumped, right? By the time you jumped, you had no choice. You were just like, okay, out there. So like figuring, I think they just made the jump. And once you made the jump, you're just in the air like that. So confidence, I don't think so. It's just a confusion.
And when I jumped, I did have confidence. Were it not confidence in myself, because I was inexperienced at jumping out of the airplane, but I was confident in my guide. I was confident in the person that I was going tandem with because of his confidence.
Is that a confidence stuff?
Is it not?
Because how do you know if he's confident or not? He's just doing his job.
I'm confident that if he's done it hundreds of times to be able to have this position, right? If he's not going to let himself die, then we both live.
But how do you know that? It's just a belief. You just believe that that's what he's just doing his job, right?
And is that belief not a sort of confidence?
No, belief is just it's just a false assumption, and it's just a false, hope. I feel like you are hoping that this person knows what he's doing. And since he's done it so much, you don't think about like, okay, he just wants some money, and this is fun for him and he's just doing that. And he don't care maybe if you just smash on that floor and die. You don't know. But you put that trust in him instead of yourself. So if you had that trust within yourself and you said, okay, this guy is doing this, and by just speculating what the person is doing and blah, 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 blah. I would have like, okay, if something happened, do I have my parachute? Can I do it by myself? If something happened to you, what if you just pass out? I don't care. I need to have that trust within myself. So I need to know how to pull that parachute before I actually go with that person, even though the person is experienced. I don't care. I need to have that trust within myself. So by the time I'm jumping, I have trust in me, but then I have an experienced person with me as well. So it gives me a little more confident.
Aha, more confident. Okay, so saying what you're saying, because I love when you speak. When you speak with conviction. One of my friends, he always tells me that trust is stronger than hope. You were talking about hope is over here, trust is over here. I don't hope you'll make it home safely. I trust you'll make it safely, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't hope everything's all right. I trust everything's going well.
Yeah.
So when you're speaking and you're speaking these words, they're flowing from you, whether you know it or not. It's coming from you from a place of conviction, from a place of like confidence, because you're confident enough in the words that you're speaking that you speak them with that authority. You know what I mean?
I can say that.
And we feel the energy, so we feel it. The energy is real. You can't lie. The energy never lies, right? So would you say when you speak, do you hope that your words are going to come out well, or hope that they will be the way that you want them to be, or do you trust that they will?
I trust my word. I do. Otherwise, I wouldn't speak them, right? I wouldn't speak them. I do trust them. The ones that I don't trust, I don't speak them. right? So it's not, I don't have that trust that you will perceive it or you will receive it in the way that I wanted to, but I trust that I speak them, you know, with a confidence because of it's something that I hold belief in, right? It's something that I feel. So, but however you perceive, that's up to you.
That's confidence. That's what it is. No?
Yeah, that's I can you see because I trust the words that I'm saying. It can be confident, but me sitting here and talking has nothing to do with confidence because coming here, I had a nervousness. Sitting here, and right now I'm fine, but you know, like it can go up and down, right? But when I speak and when I say something, and you can feel that energy, it's just because I trust in me. Yeah.
Wow, wow. So after all this time, you trust in yourself,
It's
you know?
you have nobody else to trust but you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Once you trust yourself, you trust others. You know that, right? You trust others too. Yeah. You don't think so? Like the more you trust yourself, the more you will see, you know, everything radiates from you anyway. So the more you will trust others too, because you trust yourself. So for example, when you were jumping, if you trust yourself, you're more confident because now you have an extra piece that you can also be confident with. But if you like clueless and you don't know what you're doing, you just your whole trust on this person, that's like life again. That's why life hits us all the time because we just trust, you know, we just trust. Yeah.
And last time, you know, you said to me one time that you really enjoy and you are attracted to people who are themselves, you
Mm-hmm.
know, who are doing themselves, who are being themselves in their own authenticity, right?
Yeah.
That's what we see in you.
I think everybody should be like that, you know. I read a lot of books, you know, and every book has an author. Every book has an author. Why can't every person be their own author? Why are you letting other people be your author? Like and dictate your life and do, you know, why are you going after something else that's written for you when you can be your own author? So that's what authenticity is for me. And if everybody could just write their own story, there would be more fun books to read than the same damn book over and over again, you know. It's just it doesn't make sense to me. Just write your own damn story and write it just exactly like you want. It's like this whole thing for me is like an imagination. You know, the reality is really like a collective imagination, you know, that we have imagined. And imagination is an image. You know, you put an image in your head and then it becomes real. You can do that with your life. Just create different images for you, right? And then that will become your reality because it's just an imagination. Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. You see, absolutely no room for doubt. You stop tearing, making an enemy out of your own energy. Change your mind, change its nature. Don't be attacked. Wow, people are really echo. There's a lot of love in here.
Coming from within. It's all vibration, right? So whatever you vibrate, that's what the reality is. Your energy.
Yeah. So, so you know, these are really things that I feel like relate to so many people, just like you were saying, because you know we all grow through it, and we all go through it to a certain level, trusting ourselves enough instead of just adjusting. We start trusting. You know, I think that's one of the best messages for today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if you trust yourself, really like adjusting yourself, how far will you come? It's like putting pieces together and it's like maybe you don't have any of those pieces, you know, and then you're stuck somewhere. You can't go further because you're just adjusting to whatever instead of just like, you know, trusting yourself and going through with it. Yeah.
Yeah. See, the kitten monk. Y'all should do a live together. She's awesome. You saw the live that we did
Oh, yes.
together with
Yes.
Danny. Danny, the kitten monk guy here. She said you're that authenticity. You know,
Yeah.
it has no substitute. It's like an original is always worth more than a copy.
Exactly. And who wants a copy? Who wants a copy? Everybody wants to be. It's just like I said with the quotes, right, from known people like Rumi. I believe that, for example, when I post a quote from another person, it's like I'm kind of like, just giving people what they already know, what they're familiar with, instead of being my raw, authentic self and maybe giving I have similar messages, but I don't trust myself. And that's what I'm doing. I'm adjusting to what is already instead. And that will never take me anywhere because I'm not Rumi, okay? And I'm not, that person or this, and whatever. He was his own authentic self. So, woo, sorry. I don't have a phone stand, so it's just standing there.
The wave of energy caught it real quick.
So yeah, trusting yourself and whatever that you think is crazy, and whatever, please just be you. Just be you. It's so powerful. It is so powerful. I love everybody when they're just themselves. It's so easy to just love somebody when they are themselves, because now you know how to, because they're showing you. Yeah.
One of the things that I love about the words that you speak, Nabiha, is, someone said there's nothing new under the sun but you.
No.
You are what's new under the sun. So it's never been said by you, it's never been done by you. Like exactly the way that you say it is going to be different from anything that anyone has ever said. There's never been a you before, and there will never be a you again.
Yes. See how unique we are? And still we're trying to fit in boxes. Because society is made out of a big box and the small little boxes, and another box and another box and another box. So if you're always trying to fit in a box and another box and another box, you will never get out of a box. Never. You're not even supposed to be in a box, And the funny part is, like, all these boxes are created by our mind. There is no box. There is no box. It's all in the mind. So it's easy to actually get trapped in a box because it's not something that you physically have to go to. It's a box that you create in the mind. So you're trapped, Isn't that the truth, though? Imagine, like, you don't even have to go far to get the box. It's like, create right here. That's what I mean. Like, we imagine so much. It's like you can create thousands of boxes just within a minute in your head by reading in one book. That's what I always say. Like, when you read books, just know it comes from another mind. Don't give your whole trust in it. You don't give your whole authority to this thing. Like, it's a book coming from another person's mind. It's like saying, I submit myself to this person's mind. That's ridiculous. So, like, people can read a book and create like 10 boxes in a minute. Oh my God, I'm supposed to do like this. I'm supposed to hold my breath for like 30 seconds because this book said it. No, don't choke yourself. Don't suffocate yourself. Another person has said it. Do you feel like, you can hold your breath for so long? And is it benefiting you? If it's not, leave it alone. Just because somebody else said it does not mean it's going to take you to somewhere else. You're not going nowhere. So that's a box, for example, right? Following something, thinking that's what you're supposed to do. Now you're occupying your mind from what you're supposed to do. That's real. That's you, finding out you. You're not even far away. It's here. You have you with you all the damn time. It's there all the time. And it's like you're trying to figure out everything else outside of yourself. But this is it. This is it.
And I think you also said it brilliantly, Nabiha, when we find ourselves, if we find ourselves trapped in a box, we can suffocate in that box.
Yeah. You could create your own monsters in a box. Because they also just imagination, right? You imagine the box, you imagine the monsters. And then both of them would haunt you. Because everything is just, I was actually thinking about it yesterday. when it comes to the virtual reality. Like, you know, the video that I shared, he was talking about, like, when you jump, when you have those, you know, what is it called? The virtual reality glasses.
Yeah, the VR headset.
Yes, when you have that on and you're standing on a cliff and you want to jump, you know, you feel the fear. You're scared. And I think actually you can die too. If you jump, yes, you can. It's just a sensation. It's just a feeling. It's not that something would hit you and you die of it, but just that that scaredness, people can die of it. You know, but why did you get scared? It's not even real. Why were your sensations connected to that when you actually know it's not real, right? It's the same thing with these boxes that we are creating. They just like that virtual reality. We're connecting something that's not even real to our emotions, you know, and feelings. And it's like, it's not even real, but now it's connected to that. So you're creating all that sensations and all that's going on for something that's not even real. So it's the same thing. All these boxes that we create, we can connect them to our emotions, you know, and it can kill us. It can make us, whatever, you know, it can keep us trapped.
Yeah, you know, you're right on that. You know, you're right on point when you say that. It's almost like when you're sitting in a movie, you know, and like there's so many movies that come out, and there might be a horror film or a scary movie. If somebody on the screen gets stabbed, then you feel like you got stabbed. You might jump, or you might flinch, right? Or somebody gets shot, you feel like you got shot. You like, but you're in the audience. You're watching the movie. It's on a screen. It's in a box.
Yeah, yeah.
But you're in the box, watching the box, on the box, feeling boxed in.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah. What's the difference from this reality? When you see something, it makes you feel something. Or someone comes at you and they say something, and you get that feeling of like, oh my God, why did this person say? Oh, you know, they just woke something within you. You know, that thing didn't touch you. It's just an opinion. It was just a word, right? But it gave you all these sensations, all these feelings, all this, you know, fear or frightened or whatever you feel, you know. But nothing have really touched you. Just words, you know, that's been said. So nothing is actually happening from the outside. We are just creating everything from within. And we're interpreting things and associating them with some type of feelings and emotions and whatever. But those are not real. We are the ones creating it. It's not real. The words the person saying is not shooting at you. You know, it's not physically hitting you, but you are creating the sensation because you're familiar with that word that person said will make you feel some type of way. And now you register that that word will make you feel this way. So every time you hear that word, it will make you this way. But the word didn't do anything. You did it. Because you programmed yourself that way. So nothing is actually real. It's just a bunch of programs within ourselves.
Is that sort of what you were referring to when you put one of your latest posts when you were sitting down in meditation? You said that meditation is not really taking you anywhere, but that it's, can you say what you said again?
It's not taking you to different worlds, but it will reveal the most profound dimensions in here. You know, right here. And all those dimensions are within you. It's nothing on the outside that you just, you know, experience. It's within yourself. All these dimensions are happening in here. In here. So whatever you decide to create on the outside of here is just your creation, you know, but it's already within you, right? You can either take the ride on internally or you can create that externally. But all dimensions are just within. Everything is within. It's like the whole planet, everything is within yourself. So if you want to discover like a different dimension within the world, you don't go and climb the tallest tree to find out like if it's something above. You don't do that. It's in here. It's in here.
So what do you feel like lately, you know, because I know you're a manifester. You're a powerful manifester, right?
Okay, I like that you think of me that way.
It's true. I mean, what do you feel like lately you're bringing into the manifestation with the creation, you know, in relation, like to what you're saying when you're sitting in meditation, what do you feel like you're bringing into being
Hmm.
right now?
Right now, to be honest, could be on a different little journeys here and there. At the current moment, what I'm trying to experience is, these dimensions that I'm thinking about, that I'm mentioning during the meditations. You can physically go there. Like, I don't mean like in a dense body, you know, but, just like you enter in your dreams, you go into your dreams with your body while the body is in your bed. You're running, you're flying, you're doing whatever in your dreams, right? So in this, I want to do those kind of things. I want to step into different realms consciously because it's possible, you know. So during my meditations, I don't think I would just, sit still forever and, just go on these rides within. I want to get out. I want to make it into a vacation, kind of like every time I'm in my meditation, okay, I'm stepping into this realm and now we're doing something there and I can come back. Whether I need to write it down or have to speak it out, but I want to go to different dimensions with my body, without my body. So, does that make sense?
Right. And it makes perfect sense. And how do you feel like that, what you just described, how do you feel that is different from virtual reality?
There is the virtual reality, I think, is just made for us again in the dense form, where people can perceive. There are things that people can perceive and people cannot perceive, right? So the virtual reality is like, something dense that everybody can perceive. Everybody can see it. And now they believe it because they can see it, right? The other realms that I'm talking about, it's not, you can't see them now, not everybody can perceive them because they're not in that level of frequency, but it's there. So the difference is just that it hasn't been created in a 3D form. Does that make sense?
So what D is it being created in? What D do you be in when you create that world?
In your thought form, the thoughts have no shape, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you go and travel with your thoughts. You go some places with your thoughts, right? But it's nothing dense. So I want to include my body by imagining the body being there. Because right now, with your thoughts, you actually travel without a body. You travel to different places without a body. But if I can put my own body in it, then it becomes like the dream. Because of the dream, the body follows. Because you don't know what to do. We are just collapsed, right? So it doesn't know what to do. So the body sometimes follows because we can't perceive things without the body. We don't know how to perceive it without the body. So if the dreams were happening without your body, you wouldn't think it was something you have done. You wouldn't think it was something you have experienced. So the only thing that's making it you for you is because of your body is with you. But our thoughts are also the same way. We just don't bring the body with us, because we see them as, oh, that's a thought. Like me sitting here thinking about like being in a tropical place or whatever. I can imagine where I'm sitting. I can even like hear the waves. I can hear everything. But did I take my body with me? If I did, I would be in a meditative state. Right?
Right. So are you saying that the difference with meditation and virtual reality is imagination?
Mm-hmm.
So in virtual reality, with someone in virtual reality, they're not using their imagination. Is that what you're saying?
Mm-hmm. Then it's
Okay.
created for them. It's already like we are used to, like this reality is already here, and everything that we see and can touch, we believe it faster than what we cannot. Have you noticed that? Like if people can perceive things and they can see, like I always take my nose ring off when I'm on live. I don't know why, but it happens. But let's say like if you explain something that supernatural, whatever that people call it, something that can't be perceived by everybody, something that cannot be seen with your eyes, these two eyes, they're limited. They're limited to see what you're just supposed to see here, But they were not limited, it's so much to see, so much to see. It's just programmed to see this tree and this and that and that and whatever. So this reality is already created for us. So it's easier to just like believe in it. Oh yeah, but I could touch that and I know that. And you're talking about a ghost that I can't see. It's hard for people to believe because they can't see it, right? So virtual reality is more like, even though people are not, connecting the dots, like, how am I feeling this when I'm not in it? They're not putting those dots together, but it's imagination that's already created and it came in a dense form, just like this reality. So it's easier for people to grasp it.
Okay, so when the imagination is already created, it's easier for us to grasp. But when we create our own imagination, for some people, you're saying it's harder. It's harder to grasp when it generates from within. So one of the other things that I love that you put up, you were talking about how a shark will never outgrow its environment, and that if there's a shark in the tank, it stays at that size.
Mm-hmm.
So what about, since you're, taking trips from within, you're going on vacations, right? Inside, using your imagination on an imagination vacation. What about the mental environment?
So just like, just like, the virtual reality, the reason why people believe is because it matches this reality. Whatever that's in there matches this reality. If it was something outside of this reality that matches maybe your imaginations, because most of my imaginations sometimes are not aligned with this reality. If virtual reality was based on my imagination, let's say that, I don't think people will grasp it in the same sense because it's not matching this reality, right? So growing this, in the environment that you're conditioned in, like whatever that's here, that's all people know. And then that's all they see it as a true, and that's just all you will grow. You can never put together that, oh, it's something beyond this. There are maybe some blue people, maybe there are some pink, I don't know, like maybe people are not even supposed to look like this, but if you see someone else that looks different from a human being and they tell you still like, oh, I'm also a human being, you would think of them like something else that's not, because you're used to a human looking like this, right? So it's like when your environment is adjusted for you, you can never grow out of it. It's like having in that little tank. But when you're in the ocean, right, there's no limit. There's no limit, right? So it's the same thing. A society is our little fish tank.
You just described like my whole journey,
Mm.
the whole journey. Like I was just, you walked me back. I saw images in my mind while you were speaking of times where I was around my family, in California. And I was in that box of thinking that I had to eat animals. I had to eat dead animals to survive. This is just what we do. This is what everybody does. Doesn't everybody know this? You need your protein. You need these minerals. You need these vitamins. You need this B12. You need these omega-3s. You need all this, right? And then I came across a guy, swole guy, tall guy, buff guy, and he said, no, I don't eat meat. I don't eat dead flesh. No. And I was like, what? And he said, no, like when I stopped eating meat, I felt like Superman. I said, what? Superman. And I'm looking at him. He's the most muscular guy in here. I was like, what? You're strong as an ox, He's like, well, have you ever seen what oxes eat?
Yeah.
They're not eating other oxes,
Yeah, that's true.
So that blew my mind and that broke that box. Then I went to meditate. I was in another bubble, another box with the monks and nuns. They told me that, oh, there's people that don't even eat. There's people that don't even drink. There's people that don't need. So what are you talking about? That's impossible. What do you mean? But there was something inside me that believed this could be true. There's something to what they're saying. Perhaps anybody could do. So it opened me up to another thing, and that broke another belief. That broke another box. That got me out. So what you're describing, the environment that we're in, definitely does play a role in that amount of control that we might have to perceive or even believe or even receive something beyond our wildest dreams.
Exactly.
You know?
But if you always think, always think that this is, it's not, nothing is limited, you know, whatever we know is just set of program, you know, but it's so much beyond, so much that's possible. I believe that this is just a fraction of whatever, you know, and this is like a little box that we are just in, that we think like this is how it is, but it's so much more. That's why I talk about flying and all kind of stuff, because there's no limit to us. There's no limit. You know, we limit ourselves because of society is created for us to be limited. You know, like you said, I can't believe that people can live without, you know, meat, and you need this protein, you need this. It's nothing that came from you. It's just something that came from society. Somebody told you that you need protein. Somebody told you you need to eat meat, you know, and everybody, it scares me sometimes when I think about it. Like everybody, most of the things that they operate, like from the day to day, it's nothing that came from them. It's something that came from somewhere else, and they just go by it, you know. It's like, do you even know why you're doing what you're doing? You know, do you even stop yourself and, you know, just question like, why am I doing this, and for what? For what am I doing this? You know, like we are here, they say, in a short time, like let's say, like they say 100 years, but that's in perception that you actually think like, oh yeah, I'm gonna live for 100 years, and that's what's gonna happen. Just like, you know, if you drive fast right now, you think you're gonna die, you're gonna die, because it's, everything is imagined, and you create the thought, you create the, you know, the outcome as well. So it's, everything is just made for us. We need to use our own brain or our own minds, even though it's not always our friend, you know.
But you know, even if you feel like it's not your friend, it's gonna be there in the end. You know, so you might as well make it your friend with the time that we spend. You
Yeah,
know, yeah,
you have nothing else but exploring yourself.
right.
You really don't. And I don't understand that people can't see that. Like I couldn't see it obviously either. But I mean, like, that's the most important thing. It's for you to just discover yourself. You know yourself, because you have nothing else to do here anyway. Like, what else is it to do? Imitate all the other things that are created for you? Or can you just like explore you? You're the most unique thing on here anyway. You know, it doesn't even make sense. You're the one experiencing this whole thing. You're the only one projecting this whole thing. You're the only one taking on and, you know, adding and subtracting whatever that's going on. But you never just sit down and think like, oh, who is this me doing this, all of this, you know? And why is this me doing this, you know? And why cannot this me do something different than whatever that's out there? Because eventually it needs to get boring. You know, I think it's boring for people to just to come here and then live and die. You know, it's just live and die. That's the, you know, the recipe here. You come here, you follow these things, and then you just gone. No, I don't think that's what life is about. Life is more fun than that. Life is more fun.
I agree. I agree. Wow, Nabiha, thank you so much for these messages. You know, I feel so blessed to receive this, and I know that many people do as well. You know, thank you everyone for joining. Definitely, definitely. You know, thank you for joining, and just thank you for just following your truth, expressing your truth, trusting your truth, and
Right.
letting it be known. You know, letting it be shown. Thank you.
Thank you too, Jerome, and thank you for always being there for you and everybody else who shows up. So please show up for you every day. Wake up every morning and like, it's me, it's about me. This is all is about you, you know. Look at yourself in the mirror and be like, this is about me. What is the me gonna do today? You know, and check yourself, you know, at the end of the day, really. Like, what did this me do? And what could it do differently? And work on that every day. Thank you so much.
Wow. So check yourself, respect yourself before you wreck yourself.
Yes. Check yourself before you wreck yourself. Yes. Yes. Because we do wreck ourselves every day. So, you know, much love to you, Jerome.